My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
Hyundai Heavy Industries British Sidecar Championship kicks off the 2017 season here at Brands Hatch in traditional style. What a season we've got ahead of us. This would appear to be the championship to contest because not only do we have 5 times world champion Tim Reeves racing, he's committed for the entire championship. We've also got the defending champions Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charlwood back trying to make it 3 in a row, and a whole raft of 600s to complement the season. No fewer than 45 outfits have registered for the season. We're going to have a grid here at the opener approaching 30, so it's going to be action-packed, all sorts of new rules. What a season lies ahead of us. 10 rounds, let's have a look at the calendar and you'll see where we're going this year. 10 rounds it is indeed, 20 races. We've got 1 race at Alton Park and 1 race at Mallory, but triple headers at Thruxton and a triple header as well at Knock Hill. So a lot to go at, terrific racing ahead of us. The tracks they know very well. What a fantastic year 2017 is shaping up as. Defending champions Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charlwood are with me now. Ricky, 2 championships under your belt already. You're going for 3 in a row. How tough's it going to be?
Yeah, Barry, it's going to be a real tough year this year. The competition's ever growing, you know, and we've got so many riders back for this year, which is healthy for the championship, and we know it's going to be tough.
Ryan, how confident are you?
I don't know really. I think for us we just got to do our own thing like every year. We go out, enjoy ourselves and do our own race and then see where we stack up at the end of it.
Well, the opener took place in really tricky conditions, and under new JG Speedfit colours, the reigning champions came to the line somewhat concerned because this is what happened on the warm-up lap. Everyone went out on slicks. There were spots of rain in the air. The track was extremely greasy. These boys were lucky to get away with it, so you can understand everyone's concern when the outfits came to the line. Pole position man Tim Reeves having a chat with his brother Tristan back in for this year, so the Reeves brothers reunited. So good to see Steve Kershaw back with Stuart Clark, a new passenger, Kershaw having taken a year out. Everyone on slicks, you can see the great fat slick Avons there. Spots of rain on the camera. There was a bit of a delay while the organisers consulted with 1 or 2 of the top riders to see not if, but when this race would get away, and it went under a reduced race distance, cut from 15 to 12 laps. They got away. The rain had actually stopped for a short period when the lights went. It was to come back as it happened, but when the lights went, everyone on slick tyres. Andy Peach with new passenger Ken Edwards had clutch problems. They managed to get it away, but it transpired that they were actually stuck in 6th gear for most of the race. So for him to bring it home at all was going to be an absolute result. But it was a massive pack as they stream round Druids the first time. Phil Bell and Tony Belsey getting something of a surprise as underneath went Neville Jones and Tom Bryant. This crew made a debut at Mallory Park last year, but they were on fire here. It wasn't long before they were breathing down the neck of championship regular Ben Holland with a new passenger Stuart Ramsey for 2017, but Neville Jones astonished the paddock the spectators and to a degree himself, I think. Phil Bell and Tony Belsey coming back from a 3-year sabbatical from this championship, although they had been doing other stuff over the last couple of years. They haven't retired completely, they've been doing short chassis stuff. Phil Bell, a great presence, the Northumbrian, but underneath him went Matt McLaurin and A.D. Hope, so Phil Bell was another one of the riders being a bit circumspect in these very difficult conditions. Meanwhile, Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood on the JG Speedfit Kawasaki were making up for lost time, having had a bad start. At this point, they were up to third, having gone past Chris Walker and Ashley Hawes. Their pit crew very excited, but Tim Reeves at the front was stretching away. Meanwhile, Neville Jones's charge continued. He slotted underneath Walker, much to Chris Walker, the former Superbike star's astonishment. It wasn't for long, though, before Chris Walker went underneath at Paddock Hill Bend and claimed the position back. But Neville Jones had already done enough to mark everybody's card in the paddock as a force to be reckoned with. In the 600 battle, Alan Founds and Tom Peters were having a scrap with the Christie brothers. Sam and Adam Christie, newly paired for this championship, and they were looking good in early season testing, and they were looking good at Brands Hatch. But Alan Founds, the first season for him on a long chassis, still coming to terms with it, went well. Out of the running went Craig Nicol. Passenger Ryan Anderson happy with the ride, but not happy with the retirement. Meanwhile, about 1 second a lap quicker than the rest of the field, the 5-time world champion Tim Reeves with his brother Tristan stretched their lead. The scrap behind, though, was absolutely fantastic and frantic. Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark kept their noses ahead of the reigning champions. They were back in such style. Kershaw, having had that massive shunt at Knock Hill in the Jock Taylor at the end of 2015, was not to hang on, though. Through went Stevens in determined style up to second place, but by this time Reeves was almost 10 seconds clear of the chasing pack. The conditions were drying out, playing into the hands of Ricky Stevens, who felt that he could push a little bit harder lap after lap after lap. Meanwhile, the checkered flag went out for the first race winners for 2017. Tim and Tristan Reeves lifting the honours, but what a battle for second place. Stevens getting the verdict over Kershaw. They've started their season in style, as indeed have the Reeves boys. And there it was confirmed. Reeves, Stevens, Kershaw the podium. Walker seems to be a regular 4th place man, but a lot more to come from him. Holland and Stuart Ramsey, Jones and Bryant. What a cracking debut. McLaurin, Bell, Guy in 9th place. Gary Bryan and Ben McBride picked some points up in 11th. A new pairing with a bit to do. Kevin Cable, local boy, he did well. The Cup boys all together. Alan Founds got the verdict from the Christies. Greg Lambert and Julie Canepa on the only short bike in the race. Tim and Tristan Reeves, you told me yesterday, Tim, you were going to win today's race. You weren't wrong, mate.
No, you know, we've got a few points to prove, haven't we, after last year's whatever happened. Anyway, yeah, I'm great. It's good to be back. It's good to be back with Tris, and massive thanks to Carl Coxton, all his team, and EAID, and all the people who help us, H&S contractors, and yeah, it's good to be back in the British Championship and good to be back in the BSB paddock. Welcome back, Tris. 12 seconds, that's emphatic.
Yeah, it wasn't easy, but it was good. The conditions were a bit, at first, fairly slippery, but it dried out fairly quick, didn't it? So it got a good dry line, so it wasn't too bad.
Right, tomorrow you start from 10th.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, I love all that. Let's start from the back, I don't mind. Good crack, innit?
Well done.
Thanks, mate.
Jubilation on the podium, trophies in the air. What a great opener. Race 2 coming up. It's turned much colder here at Brands Hatch for race 2, and I'm in the middle of the grid. I'll tell you why. Brand new for 2017, we have a reverse grid situation. So if you swing round, KP, look at that. The reigning champions, Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood, are down in row 5. So although they finished second, they're 9th in their starting place on the grid. So as we move further forward, the slower riders are ahead of us. These guys, what can I say? New boys, Neville Jones and Tom Bryant, at one point were sensationally up to 4th place in damp conditions. Then it dried out and they went backwards, but they've got a good crack at being at the sharp end this time. Old regulars of ours, number 25, Matt McLaurin and AD Hope, they made a good fist of it as well. Find themselves ahead, of course, of race winner. Can we just swing number 77, Tim Reeves, and his brother Tristan will start the race from 10th. Pole position, man, first time ever, Rupert Archer and Steve Thomas. Are they going to benefit from the pole position? Even bigger the question, is Tim Reeves, where's he going to be going into turn 1? It's 15 laps, the circuit is perfect, but as I say, it is cold. Let's get it on. No pressure, Rupert Archer, Steve Thomas, pole position as the crews support people leave the grid. 15 laps then, a massive crowd. We're in the middle of the day here now at Brands Hatch. It's about 2:15. A packed grandstand watching this. The sidecars are going to get exposure like never before. Watch the lights, top of the picture. 15 laps, Tim Reeves coming from row 5 all the way back in 10th place. Already driving through the middle following Ricky Stevens. Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood on the JG Speedweek Kawasaki. Tim Reeves on the Carl Cox and Gary Bryan out of shape, had 2 goes at bashing Tim, but Tim remained steadfastly. Ben Holland's sideways there, the number 60, Hannafin Kawasaki. Phil Bell, though, a rocket ship. Phil Bell, Tony Belsey, the Northumbrian pairing, leading this race. Good to see Phil Bell back. Rupert Archer made the best of his pole position start. Tim Reeves then chasing on the back of Kershaw, still trying to scythe his way through. But at this moment in time, we've got Phil Bell out in front. Chris Walker staying ahead of Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark on the Express Tyres Blink Bonnie Quarry Kawasaki. Matt McLaurin having a go at Ben Holland. We're on board with Chris Walker and Ashley Hawes now, looking to get their way past Ian Guy and Jeff Billmore Brady, which they do. The Yankee Motorsport black and gold outfit then being passed. Now Tim Reeves. We're with Tim Reeves having a look, going underneath in rocket ship style, Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark. So Reeves already on a charge. Ahead of Reeves now then, we have the pairing of Chris Walker and Ashley Hawes, number 9, but Tim Reeves going round the outside at Druids. Walker fighting back, he's got Tim Reeves behind him, alongside him, behind him, alongside him, into him. Tim Reeves then bounced off the inside of Chris Walker and shot through ahead. Oh, what brilliant, brilliant racing this is. The Hannafin Kawasaki pairing of Ben Holland and Rupert Archer are in it together. Ricky Stevens, Ryan Charwood then, they now have the championship challengers and first race winners, Tim and Tristan Reeves ahead of them. They're closing down now on the back of Matt McLaurin and AD Hope, the Blue Machinery number 25 outfit. And here's a replay of that amazing move by Tim and Tristan Reeves on the exit from Druids. They took 2 outfits in one fell swoop. Rupert Archer at the head of the bunch. Chris Walker got himself boxed in, couldn't find his way back. Still out in front then, Phil Bell. Tim Reeves now chasing. McLaurin Hope up to 3rd. 4th place for Walker and Hawes, number 9. 5th for the defending champions, Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood. JG Speedfit people jumping about in the pits as past McLaurin and Hope, neck and neck. Walker and Stevens went into clearways this time on lap 3. This is how close it was. Stevens then just got the verdict ahead of Chris Walker. Up to 3rd place then, Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood. Ahead of them, Tim and Tristan Reeves. Ahead of them, Phil Bell and Tony Belsey. Steve Kershaw, number 29, with Stuart Clark making a fist of doing a, well, just a brilliant, brilliant job. So good to see these boys from north of the border make this comeback. Brilliant, brilliant ride from Kershaw. 3rd in race 1. Is he going to find a way past Chris Walker and Ashley Hawes? Well, I can tell you, he's certainly going to give it his very best shot. Right behind him, number 60, Ben Holland and Stuart Ramsey, who did so well in the Val de Vienne test. They were strong, strong contenders. Reeves then, on the back of Phil Bell, who's coming back with this ex-Sean Hegarty Suzuki. It was brand new when Hegarty bought it in 2015, and it's looking in pretty good shape now, but it ain't quick enough to keep this Carl Cox Motorsport Kawasaki behind. Reeves then ahead of Phil Bell, assuming control at the front of the race from unbelievably 10th on the grid. He is a class act, no doubt about it. Underneath Chris Walker goes Steve Kershaw. Steve and Stuart Clark newly teamed up for this season. Of course, our best wishes at this point go to Rob Wilson, Kershaw's former passenger, who was so badly injured in the Knockhill crash, but he'll be watching this. A retirement for Andy Peach and Ken Edwards. Clutch and gearbox problems, we know they had that, and it's come to nothing. What a shame for Andy Peach, but he only picked that outfit up 48 hours ago because of a dispute, if I can put it another way, with his sponsor. He's had to buy an outfit. Neville Jones, Tom Bryant, their race too has come to nothing, but they've already covered themselves in glory with a brilliant performance in the opener here in damp conditions. Gary Bryan with young Ulsterman Ben McBride in for the first time. So many of these drivers have got new passengers. It's not only difficult for the drivers, it's quite difficult for the commentary team as well, getting their heads around the change in team membership, that's for sure, and in some cases the changes in colours. But this is only race 2 of a long, long season. I will promise you, by the time we get to the end of the year, I'll know what I'm talking about. Matt McLaurin and Adi Hope then on the blue machinery bike. Number 25 with Ian Guy and Jed Pillmore. Brady going underneath them. Ian Guy, something of a veteran, and that bike is quick. New rules for this year mean that there will be at least 2 engines stripped and measured at the end of the race. That is done randomly and will be carried out at every meeting. Up through then, moving through into second place. The JG Speedfit bike, Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood, they are now in the position in which they finished the opening race. Second, chasing behind them, we've got that battle between Kershaw, there we are, P2. P2, and they're just a fraction ahead of P3, these guys now, that is the move for third. Steve Kershaw now up to third ahead of Phil Bell. Phil Bell has covered himself in glory as well, having led this race for so long in such an emphatic style. It's good to see Phil Bell back. It's good to see Steve Kershaw back. We've never had such a strong grid as we have for 2017. The 600 Cup class a little bit thin on the ground because there is a World Championship round coinciding with this meeting, which means that the Birchall brothers are playing in Le Mans rather than Brands Hatch, but they will be back for Alton Park round 2. We expect to see a full complement of 600cc Cup competitors turn up at Alton Park. There's also a race on at Cadwell this weekend, which has taken away some of the 600s. But there's a live battle going on further down the order with the 600s. And here we have Chris Walker and Phil Bell scrapping for 4th place. Chris Walker wants that 4th place. Phil Bell has got it. Walker can see it. And at Druids, is he going to find the opportunity to claim it? Down they go towards Graham Hill Bend. Ashley Hall's vastly experienced, the 2012 former world champion, with Tim Reeves doing a great job for Chris Walker. Tony Belsey likewise for Phil Bell, another vastly experienced passenger. Just look at the sidecar wheel, just flicked momentarily as Phil Bell flicked it right. Tony Belsey transferred his weight from the sidecar wheel to the back wheel to get the drive. This is where they need the drive, out of clearways and away down the start. Those bikes turning out 180 horsepower out of the box, and through goes Chris Walker underneath a paddock hill bend. Walker and Ashley Hawes then up to 4th. He's made the place his. Greg Lambert and Julie Canepa briefly in shot there, number 69 on the only short chassis in the race, and Greg Lambert was absolutely flying in the early stages of the damp race yesterday. Oh, look at the wheel popping up. He's just riding that on a knife edge. That young lady doing a fantastic job keeping just enough weight on the sidecar wheel and then transferring it to the back wheel. Kershaw and Clark. Number 34, the Christie brothers. Sam and Adam Christie, from a true sidecar racing family, in the middle of the 600cc Cup scrap and in the middle of the pack. on board with these boys. There they are. There's another brother, Tom, who's actually got an injured foot at the moment, but oh, got a bit sideways there. But this is this man's first season driving an outfit, never mind a long outfit. So Sam Christie was passengering last year, and now he's taken to the handlebars with great aplomb, I have to say. Tim and Tristan Reeves on the penultimate lap now. Absolutely flying. Over they go on their final lap. So 1.2 miles of Brands Hatch for Tim and Tristan Reeves to navigate to make it a double here and 50 points. They are 1 second a lap quicker than Stevens and Charwood, who are chasing hard in second place. So again, the margin at the end of this race is going to be a full 10 seconds or thereabouts. It's got to be. But what a great display from Tim and Tristan Reeves. They came into this meeting feeling they had a point to prove. They missed the championship last year. There was a little bit of dispute over whether they could ride at Mallory Park or not. That's all ancient history. They're going to do every single round this year, and we're lucky to have them. 5 times a world champion. This man knows what he's doing, and it's victory in race 2 here. Couldn't be a better display from 10th place. And where's the rest of the field? Well, they're on their way. In 3rd place, Steve Kershaw. 2nd place, it's Ricky Stevens, Ryan Charwood. There's Kershaw, very, very close. Rod Robinson, Kevin Cable going over, Alan Founds number 8, and Chris Walker goes through in 4th place. But absolutely no mistaking. Look at that. What a race for them. Double win then for Tim and Tristan Reeves. 10 seconds the gap, 10.5 ahead of Stevens and Charwood. Kershaw, same podium as race 1, but anything but boring. Walker, Holland, Bell. Gary Bryan did well, Matt McLaurin, Horsfall, there's the top 10. Archer from pole position, ended up 10th, so he swapped places with Tim Reeves. Rod Robinson, Kevin Cable. Alan Founds lifts the cup, and Dean Nichols, Kenny Cole, the filling in the sandwich between him and the Christie brothers. Lambert and Canepa, 16th. Well, for the second season, we've had the 600cc Cup class. A bit of a thin grid this weekend because there's been a World Championship round and an event at Cadwell. But the guys here, Alan Founds and Tom Peters, first time they've ever raced a long bike on the Brian Gray Power Biking Yamaha. What a fantastic result for you guys. Winners this weekend, sitting on top of the pile at the moment.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. It's been really hard work to get here, and we had a lot of help and support off everyone. And massive thanks to Brian at Power Biking. He spent endless nights getting the bike ready and getting everything done, and we've had a brilliant weekend so far. I
must admit, I really didn't think I'd be talking to these guys once this weekend, never mind twice. Steve, and what about this man? What a star he's been. Brilliant.
Absolute fantastic. Stuart has never missed a beat. He's got on the bike and he's had big shoes to fill, and he's just been perfect. Perfect.
Well done. It's a brilliant start to your season. Probably the quickest you've ever gone. Is that a fair statement?
Definitely.
Ricky Stevens and Ryan Charwood, a hard-fought runner-up spot. A lot of traffic to get through. That was far from easy, but a good job. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Yeah, to be fair, the first part of the start was brilliant. Got through the traffic, but they're not slow. They fight back, and that was our problem. Then we got too many caught napping here and there when we were trying to get through. But really, really scrappy, and I'm happy to be second, but I'm not as well, if you know what I mean. I wanted the win there, but a few little issues with the bike, but we'll get on. We're going to be ready for Alton.
Well, you're grinning from ear to ear, both of you. What a way to start the season. You said you had a point to prove. I think you did it in emphatic style this weekend. Well done, Tim.
Thanks, Barry. Yeah, I just love riding this bike. It just seems I gel with it, and it's good to have Tris back on. And that reverse grid is good, really good. I mean, that first lap, it was ridiculous. It was proper. Everyone was smashing into each other. It was hilarious. I was proper grinning. No, really agree with that new system. Good job by Roger. And yeah, thanks very much. Great. Thanks to everyone who's helping us, and it's great to be here.
Well, 1 round down, 9 to go, and 50-point maximum for the Reeves boys ahead of Stevens defending that title. Kershaw and Walker there in 4th. They're all very, very close. Ben Holland, Stuart Ramsey, Phil Bell. What a result for him. Terrific stuff. Neville Jones, Tom Bryant there. There's the 600 Cup boys. Birchells are back at Alton. Watch out. Well, you know, it's been an absolutely fantastic start to the season. So many new names have made their presence felt this weekend. So good to see Steve Kershaw and Stuart Clark back in the running, and double podiums for them. It's just a fantastic season ahead of us, I know it is. 2 weeks' time, Alton Park, just one race in the picturesque countryside of Cheshire. We'll be there. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.